Hello Libra, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the rest of the year, Libra, by request. Somebody requested a reading for the rest of the year, so we are reading for the next 6 months. At this point of the month, I usually start doing readings for the following month, but instead of that, we're doing the next 6 months. So Libra, thank you so much for collecting here. Thanks so much for clicking here. I appreciate you. Got a couple of decks we're going to be using, a couple of tarot decks. We've got Tarot of the Tarot of Dreams, and we've got the Wild Reflections Tarot. We're going to look at both of these. We're going to go through month by month, find out what's going on for you. Please remember, these are general readings, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen for all of you. Not everybody is at the same place in their life at the time that I'm reading this. It may resonate for some of you immediately, but please know that these are all predictions. This hasn't happened yet. So there's the ability to be able to resonate with it might be very limited because these are all predictions 6 months away, right? All right. So thanks for showing up here. I appreciate you. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. If you're a person who's always here, I appreciate you coming back. And if you are brand new, I hope you will stay. All right, let's find out what's going on for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter for the rest of 2025, July to December. Tell me what's coming up for Libra. July to December. Tell me what's coming up for Libra. July, woo, we're starting good. August, okay. September, October, November, December. Well, okay, let's find out what's going on here. The next 3 cards I'm putting down are for the advice for the next 6 months. And let's find out what's going on here. So it does look like for July, well, first of all, let's get the overall energy for the next 6 months. That is okay. You're going to get clarity, friend. Clarity, contracts possibly for some of you, communications possibly that you're not expecting. I would say that possibly for some of you, you are out of some sort of really hard cycle, Libra. You're about to hit the Wheel of Fortune. Your destiny is here, and it's time for things to move forward, change, and expand. And so this is a really beautiful place to start off July, right? The second half of the year, I feel you are being caught up in the Wheel of Fortune, which tells me you're being thrown into a brand new cycle in your life, Libra. I like that as a start. Tell me about the cycle, the brand new cycle that's opening for Libra. Tell me about July. For Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about the wheel, please. The Wheel of Fortune. Tell me about Libra. It feels like it took you a long time to get here. Maybe it's been a rough go, I would say, but it's taken you a really long time to get here. For me, this is Sagittarius energy. Of course, things start to move really quick from here, and because it's card of Jupiter. And it's about expansion, things getting bigger in your life, but it's also Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo energy for me, and it feels like it took you a really long time because the fixed signs take a really, really long time to get to where they're going, but they always do get there. All right, we've got the King of Swords. That's your energy. Oh, hang on. Just dropped a card. All right. We've got Temperance. One more card. And we've got the Knight of Cups. So I feel if there is something going on with your health, Libra, first of all, I feel like this is the month where you get your answers. So if you're somebody who has been testing or getting tests, or there's things that are going on and you don't really know why they're going on, I feel like this is the month in July where you begin to get the answers. And because you begin to get the answers with the King of Swords, you begin to heal. It feels like things start to get a little more stable. It is in a moment of alchemy, and it almost feels like somebody's been going through some weird symptoms or something like that has been going on in your life, and you don't have any answers for it, and all of a sudden the doctor comes through with the answers, or the psychologist comes through with the answers, or the lawyer comes through with the answers. It doesn't have to be something that has to do with your health. It is something that you've been waiting on that is finally showing up in a moment of destiny to tell you that things are going to be okay, because the Wheel of Fortune here is moving in a fortunate direction. Whoever brings the information to you, the King of Swords, is a person of official status. So this is a person who's a lawyer, judge, a magistrate, a doctor, a psychologist. It's like somebody who is bringing the official word, could be a notary or a lawyer, but it feels like whatever has been up in the air, whatever we've been juggling, whatever's been in a yes-no position, I feel like it now solidifies. The Knight of Cups tells me you get to celebrate emotionally. For some of you, this could be romantic. It could be that we are finally finding a healthy relationship, but it could be that finally we're in some sort of good, balanced emotional health, right? Because the King of Swords is about the mind. We do have the Temperance here, which is healing and stability and alchemizing. It's the moment of alchemy. And then we have the Knight of Cups. It's like the stability of your emotions. So whatever is happening here, I feel like it is good news, and it is about to change the next 6 months of your life. Look, I feel like you were stuck here waiting for the King of Swords to show up. Or maybe you are the King of Swords. Take it as it resonates for you. The kings are all masters, and this person is the master of the mind. So this person seems highly educated, was looking for answers. It does feel like it's someone who is working on your behalf, but it feels like you finally get the answers, and therefore you're free to go. I'm going to say you're free to go in August. So it feels like you are free to have movement. You get to detach from whatever chaos was going on in the mind. It feels like you finally are moving in a very smooth way into the future here. Tell me about the Six of Swords here. You finally get to detach from whatever was making you chaotic in the mind back there. Six of Swords is on the Six of Swords. Tells me the universe says, I said what I said. It's time for you to become unstuck from this Three of Swords energy. I feel like you are releasing yourself or moving away from or detaching from worrisome thoughts. It feels like you've been in this place of maybe feeling like there was no hope, feeling disappointed or heartbroken, or why can't they figure out what's going on? It feels like you're detaching from the Three of Swords now. You no longer have to be stuck in this energy of feeling alone in your plight here. We do have the Knight of Wands. I like it because now you've got your energy back. Whatever they figured out, whatever it is, legal, health-wise, whatever it is, the Temperance card being here with the Wheel of Fortune and then the Knight of Wands shows up, it tells me you're no longer stuck in swords. You can now move forward. You now have the energy to go. It feels like you now become more optimistic. It's Sagittarius energy, more optimistic, more sort of fun and fun-loving, and now I can get out there into nature, and it feels like because you've got your answers, something heavy has been released from you, and the Knight of Wands is here to say, the brand new cycle is here. The door has opened, and now you can enjoy whatever it is that you want to enjoy. So I feel like you are starting August with a lot more optimism. And I feel like things aren't necessarily the most stable they've ever been, to be honest with you. Like, it feels like you are repairing or healing or getting more energy, getting out in nature a little more. It feels like you start to repair in the month of August here. We've got September. We've got the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands tells me that you are standing up for yourself, that you are putting some sort of boundaries in place here. I think that this is all, this overall energy has to do with things that you're learning, clarity that's coming to you. It feels like you're sharp of the mind here. Tell me about the Seven of Wands. We've got the Ace of Swords again. Look at that. We've got the Hanged Man. It's almost like you're rethinking things here. You're having realizations and you're rethinking things here. It feels like with the Seven of Wands that you've had a realization that I really need to put up some boundaries. I need to make some promises to myself. That's what boundaries are. You never place boundaries on someone else or something else. Those boundaries are for you. You set the boundaries to what boundaries you won't allow to be crossed and which boundaries you won't be crossed. I believe that you start making serious promises to yourself, and I feel like the Ace of Swords tells me you become clear about what it is that you want, clear about where you're going to place the boundaries in your life, and I feel like it's like a new day. It's almost like somebody who has been sort of sad or depressed or no energy or felt up in their head, couldn't make a decision. It feels like something was weighing heavy on you, and all of a sudden it's released with the Knight of Wands, and now you're starting to treat you differently than you treated you going forward, coming out of the last 6 months and going forward into the next 2. So we do have the Hanged Man energy. And so the Hanged Man energy tells me that you start making very different decisions than you were making back there. It feels like with this Hanged Man energy that you go into a pause and start thinking about, what do I want? What keeps me stable? What is what do I want emotionally? It feels like you go into sort of this place of perspective. Everything comes into perspective when you've been in this energy for a lot of the time. So I feel like you've been in this energy, Libra, in this hardship of the mind, but it feels like it gets easier in August, and by September, you're like, I got to get a different perspective here. It feels like you need a different perspective, that you've got to make some decisions. The 2 swords are here, and then the Tower shows up. You begin to make changes. I feel like you, by being in this Hanged Man energy, looking at things differently, trying to get perspective on what you want for the rest of your life. By doing that, you send your vibration to the universe saying, I'm ready for change. And so change does show up. We're going to talk more about that tower in the extended. I go through this and I'm doing a lot more clarifying. So we're going to get, we'll find out things about what causes the tower. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We're looking at October now, and that is your birthday month, right? So it feels like you are making some decisions. I feel like October might be a month where you're feeling a little bit disconnected from other people. Maybe you're having a hard time with your finances. Tell me what else I need to know here. It feels like a month of, possibly as you begin the month of October, you're feeling a little bit in lack. We've got the King of Wands. We've got the 9 of Swords. And we've got the 7 of Pentacles. So it does feel to me like with this 5 of Pentacles and the 9 of Swords that you might be worried about financial things. You might be worried about money. And it does feel like with the King of Wands here that you do have the motivation to make more money and to work hard because the 7 of Pentacles is here. So I feel like you have to come up with a new plan, because the 7 of Pentacles is about throwing your seeds of intention and then nurturing that. So it feels like you have to have a different intention. You have to have the strength or the know-how to go in on a different path here. It feels like you begin to worry about money and feeling disconnected from maybe not just your finances, but maybe from people around you. It feels like you've got to work a little bit harder possibly, but it feels like you do have the motivation to do so. The King of Wands is a person who has mastered their passion. So I feel like maybe you have a passion, and maybe that passion isn't making you a lot of money. Look, maybe you're a person who's a potter, or you do something creative. I always see you guys as a creative one. Maybe you're a public speaker, maybe you have a specific niche, maybe you're a musician, but that's not making you a lot of money. I feel like you're probably going to have to be motivated to go out there and find something that brings in a little bit more money. You're going to have to find your new intention. And it's not to say to put whatever your passion is on the back burner, because the King of Wands would never do that. It just tells me that maybe you have to reevaluate, right? That's what the 7 of Pentacles is about. I'm putting a lot of hard work in here and I'm not getting a lot of money out of it. It's time for me to start in the reassessment, reassessing or assessing the situation for what it is. And I don't really want to be in this stressful energy of the 9 of Swords. By the way, the 9 of Swords is also about not really wanting to accept things in the present moment, because in the 9 of Swords, the reason we're worried is because we're looking too far back there, or we're looking at things in the future that haven't happened yet. So I feel like the thing is that it's interesting that it comes up in October, because we do change into Libra season in October, and it feels like you're almost going through with the Tower here in September, and then we have October. It feels like I feel like, Libra season starts September, right, and goes into October, but it feels like you begin to sort of do the reassessment of life, is what it feels like. It doesn't feel like a midlife crisis, but it feels like I need to really reassess things here as I come to my solar return. I really have to as I come to the solar return, I really have to reassess what I'm doing here with my life. And so it's not to say leave your passions on the back burner, but maybe you might have to find a side gig in order to support your passions for your life. We do in November have the sun. So there's some sort of a breakthrough, happiness and growth that is going to happen for you in November. Whether that growth is financially or in perspective possibly, but also it could be spiritually, in your health. Tell me what the sun is bringing here. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Look at this. Look, there's so many changes going on for you in the next 6 months, and they're positive. When the Wheel of Fortune shows up with the sun, you're getting happiness on steroids. You're getting change. Yes, change on steroids for sure, but expansion is going to happen quickly. And it feels like it took you a really long time to get here, but it feels like destiny is on your side. So it feels like you have, like, the Wheel of Fortune comes up here, and maybe you saw it as a hardship, but I feel like as it comes up here in November, you're like, yeah, I remembered. I'm in a new cycle. Things are about to get a lot better. You begin to make decisions about possibly the new year, because we're already in November here. We've got the Four of Pentacles. It feels like there are decisions that you're making that you are holding on to the sun. So you're holding on to positivity. You're holding on to things like destiny. Destiny's moving me forward. Things are becoming better, happier. Growth is here. I feel like you're really hanging on to the Two of Swords, which is, I really have to make some important decisions for my life. It's time for me to move forward and get out from behind this Nine of Wands, because I feel like you're feeling as though you have to be the person who's always resilient, and maybe you're approaching burnout. Maybe you've been putting so much work into your passion and it's not making any money. It feels like it's time for you to maybe save some money or hold back a little bit, make some decisions about your financial gain. One more here. We have Star. So it does feel like there is there's so much coming up in November. I feel like this is going to be permeating or rumbling right through to the new year for you, but it feels like this is the month where you really begin to see that that your healing is about to take place. Wish fulfillment is here. It feels like this is a realization about manifestation. It feels like you start to believe that your destiny really is here to expand your life, and not, because I feel like your first taste of destiny here is the Tower, which is pretty hard to go through. But it feels like this sun energy here is your second taste of destiny, and it comes up with the Wheel of Fortune, and you begin to really feel the healing. You begin to feel hopeful, it feels like here. Tell me about December. Got the Eight of Cups in December, and I love this because it feels like you are letting go of things that are no longer serving you. And it's because of you wanting to be hopeful, have health. You're making some really hard decisions. The Two of Swords is here. Tell me about the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is on the Eight of Cups. Look at those synchronicities, my friend. Eight of Cups on the Eight of Cups. Six of Swords on the Six of Swords. We've got two Wheels of Fortune. I'm telling you that this next 6 months is going to be very different from you than the first half of the year. It does feel like you are finally agreeing with the universe. I want to say you and the universe are in sync. It's like, this is what's supposed to happen. Okay, let's do it. It feels like you're listening to the universe and you're very much in sync with the universe here. I feel like you finally begin to get more courageous. I want to say that you start to get more stability of the mind. You start to sort of realize what it is that is for you and is not for you. The Four of Swords is here as the stability of the mind, but it's also healing. And you've been healing, by the way, through this whole month, or through this whole 6 months. we've got the Six of Wands. So I feel like what you're leaving behind is an old, hard cycle, is what it feels like, because the Eight of Cups is behind the person who is on the Six of Wands, right? That person is leaving, detaching, going forward to a victorious and successful time in their life. And this Six of Wands is usually someone who's come back from the war or the fight, somebody who's really had a hard cycle and is going to be crossing the finish line into a life or a cycle that is looks a whole lot better, because you can see the sun on the end of that wand. The wand is propelling you into the new year. We do have the Four of Swords. I feel like it's stability of the mind or healing of the mind, because you are letting go of things that no longer you're no longer focused on those things. It feels like you have hit a growth patch here, and you are far more focused on what you can grow, which is going to make you happy in the new cycle. Oh, look at that. You know what? It feels like you're getting balance. You're getting this Empress energy. It feels like this is your energy, right? Libra and Taurus energy. And it feels like all of this is setting you up for wisdom, to set you up to be stepping into the Empress shoes, whether you are the feminine or the masculine. It's a new day for you, right? The Fool is here and you're excited about it. You are jumping into a new happy chapter of your life. This is going to be a lot of happiness. But look, it didn't come to you with just a little sprinkle of happiness from the universe. It came with a lot of hard work. And with this hard work here, with the Eight of Pentacles, you become the subject matter on something. And I think that your subject matter information is wisdom. It feels like all of this here, a lot of people who are unwell or not well at all are people who gain a lot of wisdom. They have a lot of time to think about their mortality, or think about what is going on in their life and what they want next. And I feel like this is sort of, and whether or not you are ill or not doesn't mean that you have any more or less wisdom than someone who's well. But I feel like you've been put in a position here where I feel like you, now that the time that you've been given, you're no longer taking it for granted. I feel like you're working really hard and stepping into this place where now you do have the ability to birth something new. And so it feels like back here, you kind of had to maybe not pay as much attention to your passion, whether you're throwing clay or a musician or whatever it is. Maybe you had to heal a little bit more and wait for the Wheel of Fortune to come pick you up with the sun, and have you make some really tough decisions about saving money or working at a job or whatever it is that you did to change your circumstance. And it feels like it all leads you to here. It all leads you to a place where you become the subject matter expert on wisdom. It feels like this is all leading you to a place of wisdom and happiness. Here is your new chapter. So we do have this going into the future here. We have the advice for the next 6 months. We're going to talk about this in the extended. If you would like to join us in the extended, that's where all of my extendeds are, whether it's a weekly or a monthly reading. And if you would like to go there, please check the pinned comment above all of the comments here. You'll see a pinned comment. It does have the information there. It has a join link for the membership, but it also has links there for private readings. I am doing live private readings as well as pre-recorded private readings. Please go check my schedule for live readings. You can pre-book those with me for the lives, or you can just show up when my schedule says that I'm going to be online. And if you'd like to do that, the pre-recorded readings, I do have a pre-recorded readings that is a 3-month reading, and it is very detailed. I do it over 45 minutes to an hour, and it's just for your energy over the next 3 months. I do it monthly, I do it weekly. And so if you're interested in that, please know that that's available. I also have a new reading I just began. It's a $25 reading, and you get that back in 48 hours. It's one question, no backstory, and I will read as long as I feel I need to read to get your answer. All right, let's get into the extended, and we're going to talk about the Star, the Fool, and the Queen of Wands. Look at this. Look, you have been through a lot of stuff. The Queen of Wands gets to sit on the throne in spite of everything. So whether you are the feminine or masculine Queen of Wands, this person has they've fallen and skinned their knees 1,000 times. This person is forged through fire. This person is independent and spicy and has really come to a place in their life where they are no longer afraid. They're just going to go forward for whatever it is that they want. Look, the healing is here. You keep getting the Star. We've got the Star a couple times now too. All of these synchronicities are not coincidence. I feel like this is going to be a banger of the next 6 months for you. I think that it's going to be great because we also got the Fool twice, right? Crazy synchronicities for you. So I would say with all of this, please make sure that you're watching for synchronicities, numbers, and anything else. Things that are showing up multiple times in a day. Maybe somebody says something multiple times in a day. Maybe it's on a car tag. Maybe it's on a restaurant receipt. It's not just on the clock. Please know synchronicities come from anywhere, because something is really unfolding in your favor in the next 6 months. Really beautiful and positive. I'm going to go to the extended. If you'd like to be there, come along with us and we will see you there. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Libra, thank you so much for being here and watching. I appreciate you. Going to go for now. See you later. Bye.